Why Elon Musk fires people every day? Elon Musk is one of the richest earthlings. His criteria for hiring are quite impressive and are worth learning from. Elon Musk explained his hiring criteria and explained why he does so in an interview with the UAE Minister of Cabinet Affairs back in 2017. It turns out that his criteria is very simple. His methods helps him identify the smartest for the job and is asked on gut feeling.
You need a team around you to deliver a lot of idea. How do you choose your team? Based on what?
Well, I suppose honestly that it tends to be gut feel more than anything else. So when I interview somebody, my interview question is always the same. It's
What do you
just,
ask?
I said, tell me the story of your life and the decisions that you made along the way and why you made them. And also tell me about some of the most difficult problems you worked on and how you solved them. And that question I think is very important because the people that really solve the problem, they know exactly how they solved it. They know the little details. And the people that pretended to solve the problem, they can maybe go one level and then they get stuck.
Questions he asked on all interviews. During the interview, Elon Musk asked people to give him the story of their lives. He then asked for choices you made along the way and why you made those choices. He also asked for the most difficult situations you have ever found yourself in and what decisions you made at that time. Musk says the questions is very important as people who solve problems know exactly how they solved it. On the other hand, people who pretend to solve problems do not have the details or might try and go to one level then get stuck. What Musk looked at while hiring. When asked what skills he looked for when hiring, Musk replied in a 2014 interview with Autobot.tv.
To ask them to tell me the story of their career and what are some of the tougher problems that they dealt with, how they dealt with those, and how they made decisions at key transition points. And usually that's enough for me to get a very good gut feel about someone. And what I'm really looking for is evidence of exceptional ability. So did they face really difficult problems and overcome them? And then of course you want to make sure that if there was some significant accomplishment, were they really responsible or was somebody else more responsible? And usually the person who's had to struggle with the problem, they really understand it. They don't forget. If it was very difficult. So you can ask them very detailed questions about it and they'll know the answer. Whereas the person who was not truly responsible for that accomplishment will not know the details.
What I really want to see is evidence of exceptional ability. Did they face and overcome extremely difficult challenges? And of course, you want to know if there was a significant accomplishment, if they were truly responsible or if someone else was more responsible. Usually, someone who has had to struggle with the problem understands it completely and does not forget. Given the complex challenges that Musk companies face, it is no surprise that he seeks people with strong problem-solving skills. What's interesting is that he goes one step further to ensure that the candidate was truly the one who found solutions in previous jobs. He goes on to say that he asked detailed questions in order to learn about the problem and how the solutions resolved it. When people talk about major accomplishments in job interviews, it can appear impressive. It's even more impressive when they can tell you about the obstacles they were facing, the solutions they devised to overcome it, and the positive outcome that resulted. You should only hire people you would give your company's credit card to. I'm not suggesting that you give every employee a credit card. That's probably unnecessary. However, I believe that if you don't trust the judgment and character of the persons in front of you, hiring them is probably a bad idea. When a company is rapidly expanding, it is common for it to hire people who are qualified regardless of their personality, except for perhaps the most important qualifications, which is good character. It is a mistake to hire someone who is untrustworthy simply because they have a fancy degree or expertise. Even if you have a lot of work to do, you almost always end up with more in the long run because you have to fix whatever problems they cause. Even if your company is in the business of building rockets, this may be one of the more underappreciated qualities. To begin with, building things can refer to a variety of activities. In Musk's case, he was literally speaking about building things, such as rockets. He was promoting production jobs at the time, but I don't believe this quality is limited to hands-on assembly. However, it can also refer to people who are exceptionally adept at assessing what needs to be done and devising a strategy to make it happen, even from scratch. One of the most important roles of an entrepreneur is to build things. Surrounding yourself with others who share your talents allows you to multiply your efforts. Those types of people, those with a talent for building things, are more likely to contribute in any role. It should go without saying that you want to hire people who have common sense. The issue is that it is frequently a scarce commodity and it is extremely difficult to teach. You could even argue that common sense is sadly not very common. The ability to understand a situation and make the correct decisions about how to respond is referred to as common sense. As a manager, you rely on your team to make sound decisions even when you are not present. This entails acknowledging the common sense is frequently more valuable than any particular skills. Reason he fires people. The book, which was released on Tuesday, reveals that Musk created a fearful environment at Tesla and SpaceX, where the billionaire had a reputation for exploding at top executives and assembly line workers alike. Musk fired his head of marketing, Jessica Switzer, as well as public relations firm in 2006. Ahead of Tesla's first Roadster reveal party because he was dissatisfied with Switzer's decisions to spend money on marketing. Higgins stated that Musk believed his name alone would pique interest in the vehicle. Shortly after the executive left, Musk threatened to fire another public relations firm that was later hired to handle the Roadster reveal, citing his displeasure with a New York Times story about Tesla that did not mention Musk. "I was incredibly insulted and embarrassed by the New York Times article," Musk wrote in an email to the company. "If this happens again, please consider your relationship with Tesla to be terminated immediately upon publications of such a piece." Mark Goldberg, a Morgan Stanley banker who assisted with Tesla's IPO in 2010, told Higgins that Musk repeatedly threatened to fire Morgan Stanley and Goldman Sachs banker prior to Tesla's IPO launch in 2010. During an episode, Elon Musk repeatedly yelled, "I don't have time for this. I have to effing launch the effing rocket." According to Higgins, Musk's rage reveal caused several executives to leave the company. After a series of squabbles with Musk, Peter Rawlinson, the executive in charge of Model S development, left Tesla. Musk put pressure on CFO Deepak Ahuja and Rawlinson's key deputy Nick Sampson to rehire Rawlinson. When they couldn't, Musk threw a tantrum and fired Sampson. Due to Musk's rage, Tesla later found itself without the head of its manufacturing department ahead of the Tesla Model 3 launch. During a factory visit, the CEO flew into a rage over issues with the Model X's window. When a worker on the assembly line suggested a solution, Musk slammed the worker's boss. "This is totally unacceptable that you had a person working in your factory who knows the solutions and you don't even know," Musk allegedly said before firing the factory's head. Higgins claimed that when employees disagreed with the CEO, they were frequently fired. For example, when a paint shop manager told Musk that his production goals were unattainable, he was fired on the spot. And Kate Pearson, an executive in charge of delivery operations, for stating that meeting Tesla's quarterly delivery goal of 100,000 was not feasible. By 2017, Musk had begun flying to Tesla's Gigafactory on a regular basis to address issues that frequently resulted in verbal spats. Long-term Tesla employees said Higgins Musk's rage was unpredictable and frequently centered on public humiliation. He'd always been quick to fire people, Higgins wrote, but it has always been through managers, not in person. It could be now whoever he met on the factory floor. For more video like this, please subscribe to our channel.